Hello, I'm Jose, and this is the Cinematic Dogma podcast, and I'm joined by my coming-of-age friend, Blake.
We kind of became adults together, or I did. You met me when I was just a man in my 20s, a boy in my 20s.
I think that I met you when I started becoming more of a man-child. That's like the effect that San Francisco tends to have in well-formed adults.
Yep. It's like Neverland. It's the place people go and never grow up, but they get more money.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's the part, you get more money, and then it's like, oh, I don't have to grow up. But yeah, what did we watch this week?
This week, we watched the 2001 Alfonso Cuarón
Yeah,
directed film Tu Mamá También.
Can you repeat the title, please?
Tu Mamá También.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, and I think that this was your pick, no?
It was my pick. And again, you're going to have to remind me why I picked it. But I think just in a conversation between me and you, it came up. I've been meaning to rewatch it recently, and I found out, I probably forgot this, but I found out you had never seen it.
Yeah, I had never seen it, and also at the same time I had downloaded it on Netflix for watching it on a plane. So I started watching it on a plane, and I realized, like, oh, this is not a movie that you watch on a plane surrounded by strangers. So I stopped and I told you, hey, but it actually looks good. I think that it can be like an interesting conversation. And I never know that... Sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead and finish.
No, I was going to say that I didn't know that... I mean, that you really well respected this movie.
I did, yeah. This was a very well-respected film when it came out in America. And I think it got nominated for, what was it, writing at the Oscars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So in Spain it was also pretty popular, but I never watched it because, I don't know, I thought that it was going to be super hyper-sexualized teenagers. It's a bit of that, but it's a tiny bit more than that too.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you what your what idea you had of it before you watched it, because it got so much award attention in America. I went into it as like, oh, this is going to be like a heady artistic film, but it sounds like you had a different idea before you saw it.
Well, the thing is, the starring actress Maribel Verdú, she is pretty popular in Spain, but she was more of a sex symbol, during the 90s and early 2000s. So knowing that she was going to be there, like fully naked, it was a bit of a weird kind of thing about like, oh, this is for attracting the Spanish audience, like just having like this sexy woman completely naked.
So
I always like disrespected it a bit. Sure, it can be good, but it's more about like seeing Maribel Verdú naked.
Would I have seen anything else she's in?
I don't think so.
I checked her IMDb credits, and it well, obviously mostly Spanish films, but I didn't recognize any of them as ones I had seen.
Yeah, there are many Spanish actors that they have like one or two movies in Hollywood, but they never really click here. I think that the biggest one is Penelope Cruz.
I love her. I mean, thank you, Christina.
Don't say it. You have to. So I think that Maribel Verdú is like Pan's Labyrinth and Tu Mamá También.
That's right.
They're like the biggest things. Yeah. The biggest things that you will have seen from her, with her.
Got it.
But yeah, as this was your pick, I guess that we have to summarize, no?
Yep, you have to summarize, not me.
Yes, correct. Okay, this is not a joint effort, it's not a team effort, it's me, the one that has to do it. But yeah, so as you were saying, this movie, it was released in 2001, but the story takes place a couple of years earlier. It starts in Mexico City, and it follows the friendship of two teenagers, like 19-year-old, called Tenoch and Julio, played by Diego Luna and Gael García Bernal, respectively. They belong to different social class, so Tenoch is like the single son of a very rich family, and Julio is from a more humble family. The story starts with both of them saying goodbye to their girlfriends, to their respective girlfriends that they're going to be spending the summer in Italy, I think, if I remember.
They're not allowed to sleep with French people, Italian people.
Correct.
There's a whole list of people they can't sleep
Yeah,
with.
that you cannot sleep with. Of course, the next scene that we see is that both of these kids are fucking around in some parties and just having the time of their lives during this summer. We see a bit of a backdrop around like Mexico during that time, like with protests on the streets and the likes. And then in a wedding, like the next scene is mostly like a wedding for a Tenoch cousin, I think. They meet up Luisa, that is the wife of Tenoch's cousin, if I remember correctly. That he's also a writer. Tenoch wants to be a writer, so there is a bit of a tension between them. And Luisa is a Spanish woman that's moved to Mexico with Tenoch.
From Madrid.
From Madrid. Like how they pronounce like Madrid. But yeah, following that, they tell her about a secret beach, amazing, that no one knows about, like completely, what is it, like Heaven's Mouth?
Heaven's Mouth.
A bit sexual. But yeah, then we see Luisa, like the story follows, that Luisa goes to the doctor. We don't know exactly what happens there, but after that, she receives a call from her husband, and the husband confesses that he has cheated on her. So she has like not really like an epiphany, but the following day just calls the kids and just tells them, hey, let's just go to Heaven's Mouth together. So they have to figure it out where they can find a paradisiacal beach that they just made up. Let's make it a reality, and they start a road trip together to just like that.
In reality,
days, I think.
And metaphorically.
Correct. Correct. During that trip, they discover that they were not as close friends as they thought. Like, for example, they discovered that both of them sleep with each other's girlfriend. Both of them, they have like some, I don't know, like intimate interaction with Luisa, each one of them, and this builds up more and more the tension until at the end, when they have arrived to the paradisiacal beach and being completely drunk, they end up like dancing together with Luisa, and there is a devil's threesome. And this
did that term actually come from How I Met Your Mother, or is that a thing?
I don't know. I heard it for the first time in How I Met Your Mother, I think, but then I heard it in other places too.
All right.
It's not the only place. Honestly.
My life is so far away from a devil's threesome that I just don't know.
Okay, but well, spoiler alert, this is 25 years old, well, 24, so I'm not going to be like holding back. This actually is the fallout of their friendship. The following day, they go back to Mexico City, but their friendship like just ends at that point. So the movie ends up with both of them like meeting up like a year later, like randomly having a coffee, and they discuss how Luisa actually knew that she had terminal cancer and she was going to die. So when they left her in the beach, it was mostly for her to just spend the last months of her life like just disconnecting and enjoying nature.
And I think we find out in that final scene that she only lasted like 1 month, right? Like she was
1 or 2 months.
really
I think.
sick.
Yeah. I mean, we never see her really sick.
Yeah, which I think is a smart choice, because that wasn't the point.
Yep. And I think that's the summary. So, did you like it? Okay.
I did like it. First off, I want to call out that your synopsis was great. In addition to everything, when we're in the story, it is told in a style similar to French New Wave. So we do get this ironic, detached narration that's kind of the voice of God, so we understand motivations more so than in a typical film. I did recognize that, so it's been a long time since I've seen it, and I've seen it a couple times. I don't think I've seen it in the last 15 years. and it felt different this time, which makes sense if I was 25 the last time I saw it, and now I'm 40. I liked it a lot. I was a little bit annoyed at the characters, Diego Luna and Gael's characters, just because in the for the vast majority of the film, they are obnoxious as fuck teenagers, and I felt like they hit us over the head with that, like, a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they want you to be aware is that they are that type of teenager that you would fucking hate.
I do recognize that. I said that like I have to admit it. I liked the film, and I think they did an excellent job of capturing what like young friendships can be, like even heterosexual relationships between men. It's those emotions can be larger than life, bigger than life when you're a teenager and not make sense. And if something were to happen like the Devil's Threesome, like I can understand how that can be too real for kids to deal with, and they have to part ways because they're like, I just can't deal with that.
Yeah.
So I do think they captured kind of this emotional evolution, which is pretty significant, at least it was for me when I was 18, 19. I think they captured that really, really well, and I really liked the film. And I loved the ironic narration. I loved it.
Yeah, I think that when I started watching the movie on the plane, and I saw how they were using the narration, I found it like more elevated than I was expecting. So yeah, is it going to be horny teenagers and no, like quite a bit of sex? Yes, it is. But also at the same time, is smarter. It's like they actually dig a bit deeper into the emotions that they're going through. Is that the characters cannot process them, but it's that we as an audience is that we are fully exposed to how they feel. And so you can understand a tiny bit more about like, oh, these are like just teenagers giving in to all of their horniness, but they don't have like the emotional maturity for just, I don't know, like processing anything that is happening in front of them. Is that the first time that they helped into a big fight is because Tenoch had sex with Luisa, and as Julio cannot process it, is when he confessed that he's like, well, I had sex with your girlfriend. And it's like everything started
Wait,
as
didn't Tenoch have sex? No. Julio had sex first, and Tenoch got upset because he ran off into the.
Yeah, Tenoch has sex. Yeah, Tenoch has sex first with Luisa, and then was Julio the one that talking. He's like, hey, by the way, I had sex with your girlfriend.
So in the like literal synopsis, obviously it's about these two horny kids trying to get laid and going on an emotional journey. Mm-hmm. But that detached narration adds another layer about kind of the socio-political reality of Mexico and how these kids, even though Julio is from not such a rich family, they still both have these luxuries of like being children and not having to grow up. That is shown by the narration, as well as their road trip when they're stopping in these tiny towns in Mexico that are not, the rich neighborhoods of Mexico City where they have parties with the Mexican president. And I think the narration does that very well. I will say I think the political background was also a little much for me. Like, I was like, I get it. Yep. Like, totally get it. This is a caste system. Things are unfair.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that it was like so heavy-handed. I think that it was a bit more of a coming of age in all of the terms. It's about like the discomfort of growing up and the kind of tensions that you're going to go through. So it's not only about the kids, it's also about the country in itself. Is that you see that they're going to be like multifaceted, like super amazing things, super poor things, like social tension, and it's like, we see it in different scales. We see like with the relationship between Julio and Tenoch, and we see it also in the backdrop of the country.
Yeah, I agree, and that is something, that emotional journey that the characters go on, as well as us. Like, it's done very well. It really is.
Yep. Yeah, so I was super impressed with it. I don't think that it's a masterpiece, but I really understand like why it's so well regarded.
You don't think? Okay, masterpiece may be too much, but like this is a.
Oh no, it's a really good movie.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. I don't think that it's like a masterpiece of saying that it's like if I were to make a list of my 100 favorite movies, probably this would be like 120, 130.
So it's
I
no
always
La
have, like,
Ventura. It's no La Ventura.
I can tell you that Aventura wouldn't be in that list either. Do you know that? But I respect like the merits of La Ventura. This I think that is I respect the merit too, but it's a different type of merit. But it still has like a lot of merit. I know that I'm be like reductionist on this, but both of them have Gael, García, Bernal, but I prefer Amores Perros.
That's an interesting comparison. I mean, they're not similar in terms of theme or tone or anything, but as I recall, I think I would prefer that film as well, even with the dogs.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that they were not hurt. I think.
That's what I heard. Like they had cages over their mouth the whole time. There were actually some scenes in this film where I was like, did those pigs not get hurt? They're being a little rough with it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those. But yeah, no, but all good. I need something. I was watching it with my boyfriend, and I was saying, I actually like watching this. That it was like one of the main movies by Cuarón that I had never watched. It solidifies the respect that I have for him. It's not only about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban that I still say that is the only salvable movie out of all of the Harry Potter movies, or Gravity, or Roma. But it's like I can understand a tiny bit better like where he comes from and what is his visual language. It feels like a mature movie.
Name, because you know him better than me, the films he went on to direct.
Children of Men.
And that's it. He just did that one.
Children of Men, Gravity,
yeah,
the Harry
Gravity,
Potter movie, Roma. Yeah.
So he went on to be one of the most celebrated directors of our time, I think.
I think so. I think that he also did Disclaimer. I think that's a bit of a misstep, but okay. Did you finish watching it with Cate Blanchett?
I did not. Not because I wasn't interested. It's just like I'm saving it like a dessert. Like when you have a really good dessert that you're like, not yet. That's the only reason, but I need to finish it now. He also did Paris Je t'aime.
Well, he did like one of the 15 segments.
Well, sure. He didn't do the whole thing. That was the point of the film.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he did like one of the 15, but a lot
It's
of
interesting.
other directors.
That's the next thing he did after this film. He didn't direct anything for years.
Yeah, that's true. 5 years in between. That's crazy. Well, at the same time, he also released Children of Men. So, and pretty sure that Children of Men took a while to make.
Julianne Moore was so good in that film.
I won't spoil anything, but I agree partially with that. Yeah, the thing is, I don't think that he is one of the most active directors, because if you look at the movies, he took 7 years afterwards for doing Gravity.
Yeah, maybe he's just one of those people that only does a film every 7 years, like Michael Haneke.
No. So I respect him. I wish that he did a tiny bit more, honestly, because I think that he's a solid director. So
I agree with you, but I'd rather have him leave us wanting more than like Woody Allen releasing 7 movies every quarter.
Sure, but
there's a happy medium.
Yeah, there's a happy medium. Okay. It's true that is that it's not about like having a diarrhea of cinema, it's not like being a Fassbinder or Woody Allen. But I don't know, like 7 years in between movies is pretty crazy. The last thing that he actually did, I mean, discarding Disclaimer, that is a TV show, but it was Roma. It was 2018. That was the last movie.
And he won the Oscar for that. I'm sure he had his choice of what to do. Why hasn't he done anything?
I honestly had no idea. I'm pretty sure that Netflix could be like just throwing money at them, sorry, at him, for just doing whatever he wants, So, yeah, it's been a bit of a weird thing. Yeah, he won Best Direction, Best. Oh no, sorry. He won like Best Foreign Film, Best Director, and Best Cinematography. The cinematography is pretty good in Roma. Yeah.
That's a pretty good trio of awards to win at the Oscars.
Yeah. I have to say that I love, and even like when we finished watching the movie, I rewinded because I wanted to watch it again. Like the long sequence when Maribel Verdú starts dancing, like towards the end. I found it mesmerizing. Like how she's staring at the camera and it's like, this is perfect.
Yeah, I have to say I was very impressed with her because that's like a shot that could easily feel like someone is acting. But I was like, oh no, I just feel like I'm at this little seaside bar with her. This is cool.
Yep. He's like, oh my, he's like, you're hot, Maribel Verdú. He's like, you're like just pretty authentically hot.
So you can see how the boys got pulled into the Devil's Threesome.
Oh yes. She's basically a mermaid of sex at that point. Like just hypnotizing them. Anything else to say about it, or should we move into the questions?
I think we can move into the questions.
Okay. So Blake, tell me, would you watch Y Tu Mamá También again?
I would, without a doubt.
Yeah, for me too. Probably not on a plane. But still, now that I know from the beginning to the end, because the movie opens like with them having very intense but fast-paced sex with their girlfriends before they head out, and I was like on the plane, like just like, what am I watching? Because I think that I should have stopped, but I still was like 20 minutes before I stopped. So
I would have
not on
felt
a plane,
awkward
I watched it
too,
again.
but I think you were okay. There were no children around, right?
No, there was a Midwestern guy that was clearly intoxicated.
I was like, was I on that flight?
I mean, you're not. Well, sure. Midwestern. Yeah, that's fair. Would you recommend it to Mamá También?
So the answer is yes. It would just. I would have to be very careful because the sex is. It's not just sex. It's pretty much also exploring evolving sexually, right? From an awkward teenage. Like,
Yep.
it's a lot. And so, no, I would not recommend this to your parents. And it would be hard to be comfortable enough with someone to recommend it, but I would.
Yeah, for me, it's the same. It requires knowing that the person is not going to feel shock by the sexual content. If they can look past to that, it's like someone around my age, and people that they wouldn't be over-indexing into the sex for. It's like, oh my god, this is like a soft erotica movie. It's like, no, the sex is there is because it's part of coming of age, basically. So, yes, I would still recommend it, but it requires a specific setting and a specific person to recommend to.
You know how people talk about when they watched a movie on VHS as a teenager and there was nudity and they would pause it and rewind it and pause it and rewind it? That was absolutely me in the pool scene with Gael García Bernal. I was like, oh, he's naked.
And now look at us and just rewinding to just see Maribel Verdú dancing for 2 minutes in a single take.
My interest have changed a bit.
Yeah. Would you remember it to Mamá También?
The answer is yes, and it's yes because I remember this film pretty clearly from 15, 20 years ago, so I'm not going to forget this.
Nice. I think that I will remember it too. One thing that I wonder, I mean, I would remember like the story beats about like they meet this woman needs to get out, and they go to this made-up beach, and their friendship starts like just having a bit of a fallout because they cannot process like their feelings and what is happening. But I have a question for you. Would you remember why it's called Y Tu Mamá También?
No, and I didn't even understand it until you explained it to me like 2 days ago.
Yeah, it's the kind of a very teenager talk about like, well, and I've fucked your mom too. I say, well, not really.
You know that my Spanish is getting really, really good. And no, that was a joke.
No.
But I do understand enough Spanish to understand that there were some times that where they were not translating literally at all,
Oh,
and so
yeah.
I'd be very curious to watch it in the native Spanish, just to understand, because I'm sure there are things that I missed or subtleties of language that they weren't able to translate super well.
The one thing that is funny is that when I'm watching the movie, I'm watching it through the eyes of Luisa, because the two kids they use like a lot of localisms, like language localisms about like hey, this is only used in this part of Mexico, you know. So I will have to look, or Luisa would ask it about like, what do you mean by that? Or I would actually just look at my boyfriend and say, wait, what does that mean? Is that oh, that means that, but it's only Mexico City, nowhere
Oh,
else.
okay. But
Yeah.
your boyfriend is not from Mexico City, but he understands kind of the
Yeah, he
localized
understands
slang.
like the difference. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so going back to the questions, is there anything artistic about Y Tu Mamá También?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I think first off, Diego Luna and Gael are pretty incredible for what they did. I think the script is excellent. I love that narration. Every time somebody does French New Wave well, I remember this is why it's a thing. It's so good. I think the acting was great. I liked most of it. It's very artistic.
Yeah, I agree. The narration like completely won me over. I was like, oh, this was not like the type of movie that I thought that it would use like this smart device so well, but it does, and I love like it. Sometimes it gets closer to something like Arrested Development, about like
Yeah.
how ironic it is, like for example at the end when they're saying there's like, oh, we have to hang out soon. They never saw each other again. So, we
It
knew it, but
honestly,
thanks for confirming.
it made me like I was like I need to go watch Jules and Jim right now, or like all of those classic French. It made me want to go watch them so
Yeah.
much, and it's because the film does it so well.
Hmm. Yeah, you see the power of using that resource that it barely no movie is using nowadays, because now it feels like more heavy-handed when you do it.
Joachim Trier did it
Yeah.
really well.
In the worst person.
No, it was his first film, at least the first film that came out to Sundance, about two writers that are best friends, and they have a love triangle and ironic narration.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I was thinking about adaptation, but okay. But it's not ironic. It's just sad. The narration there.
Oh, that's right. I was like, what narration is? Okay, now I remember.
It's Nicolas Cage, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's more about like the inner dialogue that is just portraying how ridiculous of a character he is.
Oh, now I want to
Self-degrading.
watch adaptation. I have a lot to do
I-
today.
Yeah, but yeah, going back to this, I think that his style is really good, like Cuarón's style. I think that is what I was telling you, like seeing him so early on his career and having such a solid direction is uncanny. It's incredible for me.
Did he do anything else in this style, or was it just like I'm gonna knock it out of the park one time and then move on to sci-fi with George Clooney?
Well, I mean, he did Roma. That is pretty similar
Oh,
in
that's
his
right.
style. Yeah. I mean, it's more of a slice of life. It has like a lot of takes that he reminded me of this, and it's also the backdrop of what is happening.
Sorry, when I say style, I meant French New Wave.
Oh, I don't think so. That
'Cause
he
he
did that.
wrote
That's
the
the reason why I
script,
felt
too.
surprised. Yeah, with his brother. Uh, and I was surprised about that because it's that I is not one of the things that I would expect to see from him. I think that disclaimer doesn't it have narration? Yeah, disclaimer has narration. Is the opposite characters like narrate the story. I think that Kate Blanchett narrates the parts where what is the name? Kevin Kline? No, who was the other guy? Kevin Kline, yeah. I think that Kate Blanchett narrates as if he was reading like a book, and it's like, then the man did this when Kevin Kline is on the screen. And it's like Kevin Kline narrates when Kate Blanchett is on the screen. I say, like, the woman felt pretty bad, but then she actually disregarded everything about her feelings.
That I definitely don't remember in the slightest. Your memory
Yeah,
is
yeah,
really
yeah.
good today.
I had completely forgotten, but it's like he does it, and it's like in a similar vein. I think that it works better in a movie like this. That is a what 100 minutes or something like that, or 2 hours. Was it 2 hours?
I think
Tu
it's
Mamá También?
96, if I'm not wrong. 96 minutes, an hour and a half.
Okay, so I think that it works better in this kind of beginning and end. For me, in a show of 10 episodes, it's a tad too much. But it's like he knows how to use it. It's not that it's poorly used. It's just that it's like okay, it's a long time for having narration.
I like it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and definitely artistic. Um, do you think that it's a timeless piece? Y tu mamá también.
Yeah, 100%. There's nothing that like roots it into a specific time, but also, sexual evolutions, emotional journeys between two best friends. All of it's just probably going to be received, at least by me, the same way in 2050 as it was today.
Yep, yeah, if we're still alive, you know.
Ugh, I hope not. Jesus.
I hope not. I hope to be out of this mess before then. No, I agree with you. It's one of those movies that, yeah, maybe if they had phones, they would have found some other beach, whatever. And some things have been slightly different, but overall, it's about human dynamics and about coming of age and about like dealing with terrible situations and just finding an escape. So. Would you turn a Would you turn Y Tu Mamá También into a TV show?
I don't think so. This is a film. I think I say this a lot about many films. The scale was perfect for me. Like, I wouldn't want to extend it, reduce it. It knew what it wanted to be, and I think 96 minutes is great.
Yeah, agree. I think that this is a road trip coming of age, and it works because it's 96 minutes at
Yep.
the same time. It's not about like, oh, give me 10 hours of this world. It's like, maybe he could give it, but it wouldn't have like the same emotional payoff.
I will say that I did check the amount of time left when I was watching it, and I could not believe the film was almost over. I was like, holy crap. I was enjoying it so much that, anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Now, could this have been a short?
Honestly, I really don't think so. To steal the phrase that you like to use, there wasn't much fat to trim, I don't think. It needed all 96 minutes and not any more.
Yeah, I mean, I could see an argument for that. Some of the, how to say, like the vignettes where they stop in the middle of nowhere and they interact like with the people of a small village is that maybe you could remove them, but also at the same time is that I think that is good as it is that it doesn't feel like oh god one more of these scenes like just interacting with native people that they are not actors and they don't add anything to the story. It's like no, it's about seeing both of them how they belong to different social classes, how they interact like with these people and how sweet these interactions are.
But I think so. There's a scene just like you're describing where Gael interacts with an older man, and the older man gives him his cowboy hat. But like that scene is like the magic of this film to me. It's just that like hyper realistic. So I don't think I wouldn't choose to take those out.
No. I think that they work so well because this movie is. I feel like it's pretty layered. It's like about a lot of different things, and it's like it works well for just giving the realism. Or it's like these guys that are having their own journey. Is that they are passing through all of these places where life goes on. So it gives you like a more realistic backdrop. You know that sometimes we discuss, and maybe we should add this question about like could this have been a theater play? And I had a feeling that yes, from the structure perspective, but you have lost all of this like magic of you are there and these are real people and this is just like a drop in their lives.
Yep. I agree. That's interesting, though. I think it could work really well. It would have to be a different beast, but yeah, this could be a play, but it would lose exactly what you're saying, which is important.
Yeah, it would be a different play. It would be like the thing is like this backdrop is almost like another character in a movie, but it's a silent character. He's never like trying to dominate the stage, but it's like such subtle, but at the same time so sweet that it's like for me it works perfectly on the background, and
I'm
I
just
wouldn't
really
want
happy
to
you
lose it.
liked this film.
Yeah, no, the more that I talk about it, and you know that we have talked a tiny bit about it, is that the more I like it. And now, do you think that this movie could have been better?
Maybe I was just in a bad mood, but I would have, when I saw it this time, but I would tone down Diego Luna and really tone down Gael Garcia Bernal. Just a little bit.
Both of them?
I mean, mostly Gael Garcia. Like, he does this thing where he just laughs with this open-mouthed laugh like a hyena, and I'm like, come on, man, just be a little mellower.
Be classier.
That's the only thing I would change, honestly.
Okay. I wouldn't say anything because I think that those characters, they're so obnoxious, but they remind me
because teenage boys
are. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't that level of obnoxious and hypersexualized, but it's the things that when they're like driving and they start farting and they joke about it. I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure that I did that. I wouldn't do it nowadays, but now I'm like just looking back and I say that, hey, this feels authentic. This is not like the two regular teenagers. They're like a bit the outliers, but they're still teenagers. They still sell that fantasy. And I find amazing that Gael García Bernal, a year before releasing this, he had Amores Perros. That is a complete different character.
Yeah, the dude's a good actor. Like a really good actor, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So for me, I wouldn't touch anything. Those characters are obnoxious because we need to see them grow. So when you see them at the end of the movie, when they're interacting with each other, and you can feel it's like, oh, life caught up with them a tiny bit, and they were forced to just grow a bit. So now we see that transition is that they are no longer like these obnoxious of I don't know, troublemakers almost kind of kids. So yeah, for me, perfect. Just keep it as it is.
All right.
Yeah, and these were all of the questions. Should we score the movie now?
Let's do it. This was my pick, so you have to go first so I can copy you.
Okay, my score is going to be an 8.25.
Ooh. I'm going to go with an 8.
Okay. The more I think what I said earlier about like if I had a list of 100 favorite movies, this wouldn't be there. It would be like pretty close. I have like a list of I used to make like a list of my top 10, 20 favorite video games as I played a lot of video games, and I always had like a bucket of hey, I'm not going to be like stuck ranking these games, but these are like they're really close to be able to get into the list. This is exactly the bucket that for me this movie belongs to.
I think, well, I'd have to sit down and think about it, but this may show up in my top 100.
Well, you were telling me the other day that you still have the physical copy, but you were getting ready to outgrow it.
Oh, it's true. This survived my great DVD purge of 2019. Now, honestly, I thought maybe I'd get rid of it. Now I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I should watch this again in 6 months and make a decision.
That's what I was going to say, is that this could be like an interesting rewatch, because one thing that you told me the other day is that you have watched it like many times, and it's like now you're getting to the point of after rewatching it many times and knowing exactly the story beats beforehand, it doesn't have the same value.
That's
and for me this was like the first time that I was watching it, so it was like, I didn't know exactly the trip that everyone was doing was for something different. It was more about like, hey, we are horny and we want to go like with this Spanish woman to fuck her, but what we got, it was like a coming of age, and Luisa is about like, hey, I'm just traveling here for having fun and just saying goodbye. I didn't know that.
That's a very good point. Yes, it was probably a very different experience the first time I saw it. Oh, man, did I like this film. But I was also 25, so...
That's true. You had told me about other movies that you really like when you were 25. And
it's a weird time.
Let's not judge. let's not judge 25-year-old Blake. He's like, he was 25. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, anything else to say about Y Tu Mamá También?
I just really want to highlight that I felt like it captured at least my experience leaving high school and becoming an adult, like moving out. Like it's just that like weirdness where you're super sad to say goodbye, but like you have no choice
You're
but
not
to
gonna
move
do
on. Like it just
Yeah.
captured those emotions for me so well, and I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, it's about like that magic summer where you know that your life is about to change, but you don't want to think, you don't know how to think about it, about like what is going to be the next stage of your life. And they
It's
just
like
go
the
like a
last
crash
time you're
course.
really carefree, but you're not completely carefree, but you still kind of feel it. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just impressive.
yeah. And I think that that was all about it to Mamata Bien. For everyone else there, like just listening to us, thank you so much for putting out with us.
And until next time.